Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tara and I like to talk about all things vintage inspired, sewing and DIY style. If you hang out with me regularly, thank you for coming back today. Sorry there wasn't a video last week. My cat Loki was really poorly and I had to rush him to the vet and I didn't get much sleep and I just had to sit there with him and cuddle him until he was better, which he is now, so I'm very pleased about that. In today's video, I'm going to show you some of my recent makes and a little winter lookbook that I shot with my friend Georgina. I'm very lucky to have a very close friend who's an amazing photographer. I met her when I was doing wedding dresses. She's primarily a wedding photographer, but she also takes a lot of my photographs, so I had a really lovely time hanging out with her, and it's the first time we've seen each other for a little while because we've just come out of the second lockdown here in England, and it was a lovely way to start getting back into the normal swing of things. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I've made recently and some footage that we took. All links for everything that you can buy, all the patterns that I've used or fabrics that you can get hold of, I'll link below, so do have a little look if there's anything that inspires you. So my first make, and I actually made this quite really in the summer, but I hadn't photographed it, is this dress. It's a copy of a dress that I saw, or I remember seeing when I was little, on Lana Turner in the film The Ziegfeld Girls. That film had a profound effect on me, and my enduring love of Hedy Lamarr is because of that film and then reading about her afterwards. So this dress, it's a really pretty Pima cotton. Pima cotton's just ever so much, it's slightly thicker than, it's thicker than Tana lawn or lawn cotton, but it's not as thick as poplin, so you still get quite a nice drape. It's great for these dresses. It's, you know, just a 1940s inspired tea dress that I call the Lana dress. And I used to make this, it was my most popular bridesmaid's dress actually, when I was doing a lot of weddingy stuff. It's got that very sort of poofy sleeve, short sleeve, and then I've sewn in the, like a vent here or a pleat to get that sort of shape. And I styled it with my coat that I bought from Beyond Retro a few years ago. Again, I was with Georgina actually. We were shopping for her wedding fabric, so I made her wedding dress. And my thrifted bag that I love and I've shown you before. And then I've also been making knitting these little rose brooches. So I've been doing them just in scraps, and it looks really pretty against this fabric, which is sort of, I'm not really sure what those little flowers are, but I love this. And actually I'd like to get more and make one of the shirts that I'm wearing, but I'll talk about that in a minute. I styled this with also because it's ever so cold here, just suddenly the temperatures have really dropped, and I styled it with a thrifted cotton, cream cotton cardigan, which is very vintage in shape, that originally was from Topshop, but I bought it in an Oxfam or somewhere like that when I was living in London still, so that's a really long time ago. I realised that wearing this dress, that there's a few gaps in my wardrobe, things that do need to be made. So one of them would be a pale pink, you know, this kind of pink 1940s cardigan. So at the moment I'm knitting some things for other people, but I think my Christmas project that I'm going to sit down and just immerse myself in through the Christmas holiday will be a cardigan, and I do have a vintage pattern that I'm very much looking forward to doing because it was from my nan's stash of patterns, so I'm looking forward to doing that, but I'll share that with you at another time. So my next outfit was separates, both of these are patterns, again, patterns that I've made. So the first one is this blouse here, which is a 1940s blouse, and it has the button back and then a like gathering in this bound neckline. I call this the Betty blouse after Betty Davis because she was another obsession of mine and still is to this day. The fabric is a Liberty print from the 30s called Honeymoon, which I think is really lovely, and I have made other things in this and it's sort of become my signature print, even though it's not my design. But I order this, they don't sell it in Liberty, but I order this from a special place. It's a size 16, but actually I seem to have made it absolutely mahoosive for myself, and I have since tweaked the pattern for that. But as you may or may not know, I am working on my own dressmaking patterns, and I have a few bits and pieces that you can buy already. I've got 2 skirt patterns that you can buy already, one of which is this lovely circle skirt that I've made from this, that's the back. It's this black tweed with this kind of lurex textured check running through it that I got from Missy Mop Fabrics. And when I made it, I thought, I've made this too small and I've made that too big. What am I doing? I seriously need to just be drinking some nice cocktails and knitting for a couple of weeks, which is my intention fairly soon. But actually this is a perfect size and I got this one right, and then the top isn't. But as I said, I have tweaked that and perfected it for myself. So I wore these 2 together and I styled it up with my favourite pink brogues and wore it with, because it was ever so cold, I had a black cardigan that I have shown you as part of my capsule wardrobe, which is one of my favourites. But again, I do think I need to knit a black cardigan as well. So I have another pattern from my Nan stash, so that might be the next thing on my knitting list. I'm literally going to be knitting from here into eternity with all these things that I want to knit. And I really love the 2 of those, the 2 of these together. This is, like, to me, this is just outfit perfection, and this wool is so beautiful. As a circle skirt, it hangs really beautifully, and I sort of want to get some more of it and maybe make a little matching jacket or something, because I think that would just look just so incredible. So I may treat myself for Christmas for some more fabric, because I really don't have enough. My last outfit was a bit of a whim, a bit of a last minute decision to make this. It wasn't on my list of makes. I hadn't shown you this fabric before, but when I made the trousers that I'm wearing, which I'll show you, which is my favourite, the Simplicity pattern, pictures, etc. will be inserted. I, as you know, really love this pattern, and I saw this fabric in Jacobs, which is my local fabric shop. So another corduroy, and yeah, the muse hit me and I just had to go with it, as sometimes you just have to. So I made a 3-piece suit, and so I made the trousers, and it's got these big sort of plastic buttons, but they're multi-colour. So I made this, so it's like a French navy, so it's got more of a kind of pinky purple hue, and it looks like a very vintage navy blue rather than a very like uniform navy blue, if that makes sense. So I made the trousers, and then to go with the trousers, oops, banging the buttons, I made a waistcoat there, and it's lined in just a cream acetate, because that's all that I had. I didn't have time to order because I saw this on the Friday and I made it, and we did the shoot on the Monday, so it was, I spent a lot of my weekend making this, and this has the same buttons, and it's like a scoop neck, and it's a really old pattern. It's not vintage, but it's a pattern that I've had in my stash for a good sort of 18 or so years, and I had to recut that because it was a small size, because I used to be a lot smaller. But I've always just loved the pattern, so I recut that, and then I made the jacket to go. Keep banging the buttons. I made this jacket to go with it, which obviously I'm not doing it justice here. It's got one button, and this is actually a 1930s Bakelite, I think, or some kind of plastic. It may not be Bakelite. It's not celluloid, but it's a 1930s button. I actually should have thought and got a button for this as well, but so that it all matched. But actually I like the fact that there's this sort of 30s button. This is a pattern that I drafted myself, and I did a version of this for a really lovely bride. She wanted the Lana tea dress, and she wanted like a 30s-ish, early 40s style jacket to go over the top in a navy blue velvet. So I kind of replicated an outfit that I'd made for a client, but absolutely love that. The sleeve is based off of my nan's wedding dress sleeve, and it needs a little bit of work, a little bit of a tweak, but I am really happy with it. I've not worn a three-piece suit before, and I just felt great in it yesterday when Georgina took photos. So really thrilled with that, and I love that little jacket pattern. I know it's very simple, there's no collar reveal or anything. It would look amazing in all sorts of fabrics, so I want to do that in a black velvet, I think, and just maybe do a slightly different sleeve on it, so it's more of a poofy sleeve, and I might do it so that, refine it so that you've got things like the vents and the buttons here and so on. Like, really, you know, now I know that it works. This is kind of like my first sample of this outfit, and that might be a pattern that I actually do as a dressmaking pattern. I'm still in the very early days of working on this idea, but it's something that I've wanted to do for so many years, and I'm finally very, you know, step by step working towards that goal. And then I made this shirt, which I'd shown you. This is actually one of those things that I showed you the fabric, and I actually made the thing. And I love this shirt. The one thing I don't like, I'm wearing it with my, look, undone. It's got a vent on the back, and I'm not so keen on that. So I'm going to change it to a yoke and a gather. And if you'd like to see me do that, I will, I'm happy to show you in a video next year. Can you believe we're saying next year? And I think I'd like to do one, like a short sleeve version with the very puffy sleeves, like on my Lana dress, so that I've got a really good reproduction, 1940s reproduction shirt pattern that can be done in, you know, for spring, summer, and all sorts of fabrics, because the proportions of this are really good. And it was really simple. If you have never made a shirt before and you're looking for something that you're a very confident beginner, but you haven't made an actual shirt before, this is a really good one, because it's it was just really simple to make. Like, I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to making some more of these. I hope you've enjoyed having a look at my winter lookbook and some of my recent makes. I'd love to hear what you think about them. What's your favourite? Any ideas that have sparked in you? I really love to read your comments. I've had some really lovely comments, and they mean the world to me. It's so lovely spending this time talking with you and hearing your thoughts and ideas. I find it really inspiring, and I'm so pleased to hear that some of you feel really inspired and, you know, all about your sewing journey as well. Whatever you're getting up to over the next couple of weeks preparing for Christmas, I hope you're spending it with loved ones and that you are enjoying yourself despite whatever craziness is going on. Keep well, keep safe, keep sewing, and I'll see you soon. Bye, my lovelies.